Hi, so today we're going to talk about bucks, does, and wethers. So stay tuned. Hi, today I'm going to talk about does and bucks. Does are the female goats and bucks are the male goats. There's also wethers, W-E-T-H-E-R, and those are neutered males. And I'll start with the neutered males since I'm there already. They are fantastic pets. They often are used for 4-H projects. They can do pet goats. That can be they can pull a cart. They can carry a pack. That's what they do for pet or for meat or. Bleh. I'll try. I'll get it out. That's what they do for 4-H projects at our fair, anyways. They might have other activities that the pet wethers can do. They also can go for meat. I can't eat my goats, but I certainly can sell them for a 4-H meat goat project. They have a wonderful home. They're well loved by a child. And then next year, another goat gets the same home. I've seen goats in terrible conditions, and I would rather have them live a short, fantastic life than a long, miserable life. So I don't have a problem selling them for that. So that's pet wethers. For here, they just kind of hang around and be awesome and cute, and waste money because I feed them. But I do love them, and they're good. They're good companions for the does also. Okay, so now the does, female goats. The female goats are the ones, obviously, that give us milk. They get bred once a year. They do have to be bred to give milk. That question does get asked quite a bit. Their gestation period is generally 150 days, so right around 5 months. They pretty much, most of the time, they have their babies within 3 to 5 days of their due date. And the babies, they will have anywhere from one. We've had up to 5 in the dairy goats. Now, I know that Nigerian dwarfs will have quite a few more. They almost have a litter. But I don't have Nigerian dwarfs. I have standard dairy goats, and they have generally 1 to 4 is the most common. We had one goat that did have 5, but that really sucked the life out of her, and I ended up losing her because I couldn't get her back strong enough to where she needed to be. But 4 goats can be very hard on them also. They can deliver just fine, and the babies are, we've had them all been just fine, but you end up with one smaller one. You have to work with a little bit more, which is, that's the way it goes. 1 to 3 is good. 3 is fine. 2 is wonderful, and 1 is wonderful. So 1, if that's the only one you have, it's all by itself. But generally, they don't know they're all by themselves. They have the other goats to be around anyway. So that's how many to expect. And that kind of, I have learned that does really go with the genetics. So if you have a baby from a doe that has had multiple babies, say the one that had the 4 babies, the does that she produced had 4 babies. They generally, 3 to 4 babies all the time. They always had a lot. And you have to watch more carefully on that. Make sure the feeding is good while they're pregnant, so that they don't get too weak or whatever. It's kind of, I guess I've never had more than 1 baby, but I would imagine, when you have, humans aren't built to have that many babies, but obviously they do, as we all know. But regardless, back to goats. I don't know enough to talk about that one. Back to the goats. Anyway, they have, the babies that come out are really kind of ready to go. They're wet, and we dry them off, and, they get up and want to go play and eat. So yeah, they're up and ready to go. And they're super fun. So obviously, and I'm going to flip the camera around right now, and maybe I'll just do it this way. If we can show, there's Poppy and Leia. Those are both this year's babies. And those would be called Dolines because they're still young. And obviously I will not breed them this year. They probably won't. They will get bred next year, but not this year. Anyway, back to the does. We do disbud. I have always felt that that's extremely important in this type of environment. It's also very important to have them in a more open, free-range environment, but they get handled quite a bit, and I always felt that it was very important for them to be disbudded. However, I am starting to change that just a little bit. Here, I'm going to show you Chloe, because she's right here. There's Chloe. She has horns. So does her brother, Harlow, and Poppy, if you notice the little white one. She's growing her horns this year. Last year, I decided to leave horns on Harlow and Chloe, and so far, it's doing very well. So we'll see how that continues to do. I had to learn to adjust to handling them properly, but we've not had anybody be mean. We've not had a problem with them at all. I know if there's an ornery goat, you might have some issues, but overall, they're quite fine, and I really do love their horns. They're very elegant. Let's see, they have beards. Oh, the females all have beards also. That's something else that people find to be an interesting thing. I'm gonna flip around here. So, the beards, let's see, Emmeline, there, she's got a nice beard. She's so pretty. Yes, anyway, they do have beards. And they do like their beards. In the past, I have had to remove some beards because they get them packed full of burrs, and I haven't been able to get them out, but generally I like to get the burrs out. I've had some really get put out and pout terribly because I have removed their beards, so I try not to do that. I'm sorry, I have some helpers here sometimes. Let's see, does milk production. After they have their babies, that's called it. When they have their babies, it's called freshening. So after they first freshen, they have a lot of milk. Generally, they have a lot of milk, and we can get up to over half a gallon per milking from each goat. I've had some that don't do very well at all, but for the most part, they give quite a bit of milk. So that would be over a gallon a day. That does taper off as time goes on. So right now, the milk production is a lot lower than it was earlier this year. The pasture is dry, plus they're evening out after having had their babies. So we're not getting quite as much milk. And in the wintertime, and that's going to depend on the winter, really, how cold it is, because sometimes when it's really cold, they just want to hunker down and stay warm. They don't really want to bother about getting up and eating and drinking properly. They will get up and eat and drink, but not as well as they need to produce the amount of milk that that I would like to have. But I don't mind if they want to stay warm. That's fine with me. Let's see, how long do they milk? That too varies a little bit per goat. I've had some goats that I've kept milking for over 2 years. Kit, she's one of my actually my oldest goat in the herd right now, and she just dried off fairly this year, and she'd been milking for about 2.5 years. I'm not going to breed her anymore, so I just figured I'd milk her until she was all done, and yeah, she was pretty much all done. So we stopped milking her. So, and then I've also had goats that have their babies, give me a lot of milk, and then like mid to late summer they decide, nope, I'm done, I'm not going to give you any more. So their milk just drops, and they aren't interested in giving me any more milk, which is kind of frustrating, really, because I was counting on that, and then they just decide, nope, not going to happen anymore. No, I can't argue with that. I just work with it. So let's see, the milk production, milk twice a day. Some people do milk once a day. I would highly suggest that not happen when they first have their babies, unless you are letting the babies nurse, of course. Then that's something you can do. I do bottle feed. I have let them on moms, though. I do have a couple that are on moms right now, but I'll talk about that in another video about why I chose to do that, and the benefits that I find from it. And of course I've had them nurse also, so I can see both sides of that. Let's see. The bucks, those are my handsome boys. They are starting to get a little bit smelly right now. Generally all summer long they really don't smell. I have them housed with each other. I have 4 of them. You can see over there. There's 2 of them. They're starting to check the girls out a little bit. Okay, here's my boys. They're starting to check the girls out a little bit. That's Elroy. Hi, Elroy. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Alvin. That is definitely Alvin. Sorry, Al. And that over there, the son, and over there. Oh, I'm sorry. Back up. This is Elroy is. Excuse me. I'll get it straight. Alvin is a Toggenburg. He's got a beautiful, handsome beard, nice, beautiful, shaggy hair, and he thinks he's quite handsome, which, of course, he is. And then Everest is over there laying down. And then these 2 boys right here are Elroy, is the Toggenburg with his head on top of Benjamin being the son. And I was going to go in with them, but they're right here by the fence, so there's no need. They're very sweet. My boys, I love my boys. I call them boys. Sorry about that. They're my bucks, but I call them my boys. It's just the way it is. So I love my bucks. I've got 4 of them together. Like I said, they all get along. They get along all the time. They're scuffling when it's during breeding season, but it's only scuffling. They don't fight. They don't beat each other up. They just want to, be the first one out the door or whatever when I decide that it's time for somebody to come down and breed. I will talk more about breeding and how I do that in another one. But yeah, they're good. I can go in with them. Of course, when it's breeding season, I usually make sure that I have covered my skin because their musk does rub in. And if I don't cover my skin, then I scrub. Charcoal soap's great for that, by the way. Because it does, Benjamin likes to rub on me, and he rubs it into me, and it's difficult to get out. Or off, I should say, whatever. But the bucks, that's about all. Like I said, I have 4, but when I first started out, I didn't have any bucks. I took my does to someone who had bucks, so I didn't have to keep them housed and keep just one. And they do like to have friends. They're just like the does. Goats are very social animals. So more than one is a necessity. If you have heard that, it is very important that, yes, you have more than one. They definitely like to have friends. And sometimes people will get a wether and let him and the buck be friends so that they don't have to have 2 bucks necessarily, but they have a buck and a wether, and that works out real good for a lot of times. But and they do have separate housing. This is the first year we've had the fence right close. Oh, not the first year, I shouldn't say that. We've had this fence up for several years, but feels like it because for so many years we didn't have good fencing. But fencing is something I will discuss later on. But I think I covered just about everything that I can think of right now anyway. Please leave questions in the comments. I will read them, and I would love to have ideas on what you would like to know. And no question is a dumb question. I didn't know too much when I first started, so I had lots of questions. Some of them were dumb, and I did get laughed at, but that's okay. I learned. So, yep. Please also, of course, hit the subscribe button because I would love to have lots of subscribers. But also, hopefully I'll be putting up some interesting information and you'll be notified when I do. And then, of course, hit the like button. That's always helpful and wonderful. So have a good day.